Hello, this is Dan, just at the start of the episode to say this episode is sponsored by my comic book series Grey, which is currently funding on Kickstarter. The link is in the description, or you'll hear a bit more about it later in the episode.
Let's talk about this film, because I'm so excited to talk about this film. It's utter nonsense.
Hello, and welcome to Hey, I Loved That Movie, the podcast where we rewatch the films we loved when we were younger to see if they still hold up. I'm Dan.
I'm Michael.
And I'm Helena.
And for this episode, we watched Charlie's Angels Full Throttle. So I had never seen this one before, much like I'd never seen the first one. But yeah, a little peek behind the scenes. So normally we record these episodes in like batches of 2. And we watched the first Charlie's Angels last week, and this is the first time that we've watched a movie and gone, actually, we do want to watch the sequel.
Yeah, because it's great.
And also, sometimes we end up watching something that kills a franchise and there isn't a sequel.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think the only time we watched like 2 in a row was the Scooby-Doo movies, but that was planned and we watched them for the same recording session. But yeah, no, hadn't seen this one either.
Oh man. It's more of the same.
This one is exactly the same, but also wilder and more incoherent.
And this one definitely solidifies that it's a parody.
It has to be, right?
Yeah.
It's gotta be. Like, from like the CSI scene and everything, this has to be a parody.
Yeah, 100%. It's great. So, to get to this film, because I love this film as a kid, loved the first one, loved this one even more. I thought I would, when I thought about this film, before I like properly watched it again, I was like, I can't remember this film. I can't remember any of the storyline because it was so long ago. Turns out, no, I can't remember any of the storyline because there is barely any coherent storyline.
Yeah, it's just
rings.
That's fine.
There's 2 rings.
They have to get some Halo rings and fight off the Covenant. And
and this was good. But yeah, no, I have like full nostalgia for this film, but I think it's good without the nostalgia.
Yeah, it's very. I mean, yeah, it's very easygoing in, like, you do not have to pay attention. It's just very loud and colourful.
It is. And it's got slightly less needle drops. There's slightly less random music thrown in.
Oh, I don't know about that. The Prodigy makes an appearance. This one has more cameos. I'll say that.
Prodigy makes 2 appearances.
Yep, 2 fight scenes to the Prodigy in this one.
Yeah, because they did it in the
Pink
first one.
wrote a song for this film.
Yeah.
And she does a cameo in it.
Yeah, she was great in it.
And there's Black Eyed Peas.
Yeah.
And they get their money's worth of Hammer Time as well, don't they?
And the Pussycat Dolls are in it.
They are?
Yeah, they're the backup dancers during the sexy dance.
So this was before the Pussycat Dolls were like a famous band and were burlesque performers.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they were burlesque performers before they were like
I only know them for their weird cover of The Tide is High. No, that's Atomic Kitten.
Yeah, I was going to say. Pussycat Dolls have had way more of a success than that. That's a weird thing to know them by. They're still... Well, no, they're not anymore.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to Atomic Kitten.
I think are they one of those bands that...
Did they just grow up?
Yeah.
Don't know, Kerry Katona just like got to deal with Iceland instead. So
was she an Atomic Kitten?
Yeah.
Ah.
Why do I know that?
This film is wild. And so the first film, I feel like comparing it to the first film is correct, and we're going to do it a lot because the opening of both films is the opening of the first film is batshit. It's just like nonsense. This person's wearing a bomb vest. We jump out of a building. Haha! It was a mask. I'm a Charlie's Angel. The opening to this film.
They don't want it to make sense.
Weird. Northern Mongolia to rescue
they're in a tavern.
US Marshal.
Yeah. And to distract them, one of them's having, what's her name? Dylan. Drew Barrymore is having a drinking competition with one of them. While Lucy Liu flips her hair.
Hides in a crate.
Hides in a crate. Tries to set him free.
Yeah, she's trying to save this important guy that we don't know he's about yet. And what's even wilder is there is a throwback to an important piece of information that happens in this scene. Like,
yes.
There's like a key bit of information that happens in this scene, and the rest of the scene is so batshit that no one noticed.
And then, just when you think, okay, that's already weird, why is Drew Barrymore having a drinking competition with this like weird Mongolian guy? Knock on the door. Guess who it is?
Cameron Diaz bursts in. Natalie.
Just like as a ditzy tourist, and she's like, "Oh hell yeah, a mechanical bull."
Her favorite, one of her favorite characters that she plays, ditzy German.
Yeah, and she's like, "Oh."
So she distracts them by riding a mechanical bull.
By the way, the weirdest outfit of the film, which says a lot about this film, which is a like heavy duffel coat, silver duffel coat. She's wearing like silver and white, but she's wearing like a big silver duffel coat and the shortest skirt.
Yeah, and then weird thigh-high socks and big boots.
So cold as like the character must have been freezing.
That's the one thing with this film, though. A lot less dressing up as different races.
Yeah, they definitely took that.
Although all of the people that played Irish characters were not Irish.
Not at all, but we're going to talk about that.
Oh, good. Yeah, well, we're going to get there because...
We'll get to that because that's important.
Apparently there's a deleted scene where New Bosley is just like, yeah, my fake Irish accent's just as good as your real one.
Amazing.
Because Bosley is now a black dude.
Yes.
He's not Bill Murray anymore.
No, because Bill Murray had some problems on set.
Yeah, he didn't like... Is it McG, the director of this?
Yeah.
Or is it MCG? I don't know. How do you say
It's a lowercase c, so I guess it's McG.
Do you guys know what happened?
All I know is that he didn't get on well during the first movie.
So it was like, from what I could tell, it was kind of one major event where he was having an awful day and there were rewrites and he wasn't available there for the actual rewriting. So he came in like a foul mood, was yelling at everyone, beelined in on Lucy Liu, made it kind of hurt. This is from what I've read from like a few people on certain like sources. He beelined on Lucy Liu, and Lucy Liu wasn't going to take shit, even though like she was hands down the least famous person on set, and like that might have been why he picked on her. But she was like, absolutely fucking not. You don't talk to me like that. How fucking dare you? Was respectful about it. And yeah, apparently they didn't get on for the rest of filming, so I assume that's kind of why he didn't come back.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah, he kind of
beelined
on it. And again, like he has his own problem. Apparently they don't have a problem anymore. It was just like he was having a really bad time.
But it's still like you don't take it out on someone like that, especially the person who's
it's not
for
professional.
rewriting the script.
Yeah, no, not at all. And I think that's kind of what.
Like I got really pissed off the other day because someone sent me a rude email.
Yeah.
Let alone someone being mean to my face. I wouldn't, you shouldn't have to tolerate that no matter what your job is.
Yeah, and especially picking on the least famous person. Like, Cameron Diaz was rising star at the time.
Didn't Lucy Liu, I thought she was really famous, or is she just not famous yet?
No, she wasn't famous in the first film. It was after the first film she did Kill Bill, and that catapulted her to fame. But yeah, she was like, because then you have like Drew Barrymore, who is like legend, dynasty Hollywood.
Yeah.
Don't mess with Drew Barrymore, dynasty Hollywood. Cameron Diaz, rising star, and like Lucy Liu was unknown, pretty much.
Oh, okay. Yeah, she's mostly done like TV bits.
Yeah, so like that might have been why he picked on her, which was the wrong mistake because it's quite well known that Lucy Liu will stand up for herself, and like all the other cast stood up for her, so it was kind of like I imagine it was a bit tense. But the replacement Bosley is really funny.
Yeah,
he's
so
great. Good. I love
so good.
I love the replacement Bosley storyline because he's just not entirely sure what he's doing half the time.
Yeah,
it's brilliant.
Can we finish the opening? Because we need to finish the opening, and then we can skip around the rest of the film.
They like obviously sneak in super subtly, and then their idea is to just sneak him out through the
quietly.
pub.
Yeah,
and they get
whilst
Cameron
Diaz is riding a mechanical bull.
Why do they have a mechanical bull in this pub in northern Mongolia?
All sexy like, going yeah.
And then they get dobbed in by a bird.
Yeah, because a really fat guy like falls and lands on the trapdoor, so they can't open the trapdoor easily. And then a bird's like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah,
well, it doesn't say that, but might as well.
Been surprising. Like honestly, would have been fine with the rest of the film.
I mean, because they go to fight and they do their like Charlie's Angels Supergirl poses.
Yeah, Yeah.
And then Drew Barrymore barks, but it's very clearly just a dog bark. It's not a person bark.
Yeah.
And then the guy that they're about to fight just pulls out 2 machine guns.
Yeah, it's like a room full of people. They all like part ways, and he's just got the guy with 2 machine guns and starts shooting at them and misses every shot as they do the weird flip.
They end up flipping like out. They jump out of the bar, don't they? Out of the window, and then they steal a military vehicle.
They steal a vehicle,
and they're driving.
truck.
So they're driving along a dam, and one end a tank is about to shoot them, and the other end a guy with an RPG is about to shoot them. Yeah. And instead, they manage to swerve off, and both things blow each other up, and then they fall and land on a helicopter. So the helicopter's on the back of the. I'm trying to get through this because I'll forget how insane this was.
So the shot between the RPG and the tank is really cool because it's like a single shot that goes from the RPG being loaded into the tank being loaded on the other end.
Yeah.
As they're falling, Cameron Diaz gets out of the plane.
Yeah,
and
she
starts
climbs
crawling
up
into the back of the. There's
a helicopter on the back of the lorry.
That's not revealed. She just gets into the back, this like covered back.
Yeah,
and then the back is like the materials shown off, and there's just a helicopter.
And the helicopter falls off the dam, and then they start it
mid-air. Yeah, like as it's falling, the truck floats away.
Helicopters work.
They start it mid-fall.
But isn't it a lovely idea?
Lucy Liu and Drew Barrymore are like trying. They get the guy in the seat, and they're trying to hold on to like grab hold of the wings as they're falling. The helicopter won't start in time. Lucy Liu's grabbed on. Drew Barrymore's like trying to. None of it makes sense.
It's just an insane, like a lot of this is Mission Impossible parody, and it just kind of takes it to the extreme in the best way. But it's still somehow not the weirdest scene that happens during the intro.
Not at all.
Because then when it does the whole introduction of the girls again, you get Cameron Diaz helping with a cow giving birth.
That looked real.
Intro. They get their own they get their own like 3 seconds of pop songs. By the way, I think I know why they do such short clips of pop songs, because then they don't have to play copyright.
Oh,
if you only show like a few seconds. I think it's 10 seconds. If you show more than 10 seconds, you have to pay copyright.
So what we get this time as well, after their tiny introduction, is a little smash cut of various missions they've been on, and I have some questions about them. I want to know what job they could have possibly done where they had to do roller derby.
Yeah.
I'd watch that film.
I'd watch every single mission they go on. I would watch a film based around. That sounds... They all looked amazing.
So this sounds like it's a parody, obviously. I think at this point it's very obvious what it is. Like they've gone really full ham. But it parodies itself as well.
100%.
With like it has the same sort of start with Cameron Diaz shaking her bum.
Yeah.
Watching the TV. I'm like, that's exactly what happened in the first film.
Yeah.
Which I didn't realise before because I've never seen the two actually close together.
Yeah, and then it's not just her dancing, it's her and the other two.
Yeah,
it is all of the Charlie's Angels.
She's moving in with the guy that she met in the first movie.
The bar guy.
Yeah, the bar guy. And so they do a whole dance number
perfectly choreographed.
Yeah, they got the rights to Hammer Time, and they really they got their money's worth.
Yeah, they did a full dance, and it was incredible.
Yeah, it was great. Meanwhile, the U.S. head of justice, Bruce Willis, has his ring stolen.
Yeah, so he's like, "Oh, my ring's been stolen," and they're like, "Oh no, I hope." He's like, "They took my ring." When they're getting mad, and they're like, "I'm sure your wife will understand." But turns out, no, that ring is half of a pair of rings. Put together, you can actually access this data that has all of the... Is it witness protection or undercover?
Yeah, witness protection.
All of the witness protection people on it. It was like, why does that exist?
I mean, putting it on 2 separate rings is a pretty safe way to handle that kind of information.
I mean, but other things... Why does it have to be on those? Why does it have to be on that? Why does it have to be on these 2 very easily portable bits? Like that. No, there's no one time I think I need all of the people on witness protection's data all in one place.
I don't know why I tried.
Also, it must be really difficult to update that list.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, they'll spend most of it would just be being sent by Hermes to various places to get updated.
Yeah. Except on 2 different packages, because if they don't do that, then there's no point in having the rings.
God, yeah, they actually send it on Yodel, and it's gone.
One of them is just
They're
gone.
like, okay, well, I guess we're never going to know who's on witness protection now.
I'm gonna have to get a new list. Start again.
Sorry, we tried to deliver this top secret ring to the Pentagon, but no one was in, so we're going to try tomorrow.
So we threw it in the bin, even though it was bin day, but we figured you'd probably get this note first.
To be fair, the safest way to have a list of people on witness protection is to have no list at all.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
if they lose it,
Yeah.
it's kind of like, well, I guess we just make a new list of new people, and those old people are just lost to the world. There's a little running joke now because Matt LeBlanc now knows
Joey from
what-
Friends, yeah. So
Yeah.
while they're like moving in as well, and he just sneaks up behind Lucy Liu and she just flips him.
he does a
And
very
then at one point she's holding a really big TV, and I don't mean like widescreen. I mean
no, like an old
like
TV.
this was 2003. That was a fucking big TV.
Yeah, she's just holding it up, and he's like, "Wow,"
Yeah.
like leaning on it. And so, when did you move in?
Yeah.
Oh,
And
that's
then
great.
yeah, he ends up meeting Lucy Liu's dad, who is John Cleese.
And that's
And
a
he
whole
knows-
thing.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
whole thing.
that's a whole thing.
But yeah, so when I'm trying to think about when stuff happens in this because I
So
remember.
the CSI bit happens before you meet John Cleese as Lucy Liu's dad.
So
So,
that's
for the
pretty much
CSI
right
bit,
after.
is literally it's playing The Who. Drew Barrymore puts on the sunglasses. They go in. They're doing the ridiculous like crime scene investigation, just
Yeah.
over the top, finding really weird shit.
Very
I think Cameron
specific
Diaz
stuff.
finds some like seagull shit on a car.
No,
and
that's
No, that's
later.
later. So
no.
I
no,
remember.
this is where they find the stuff from the surfer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is where
right.
they get.
So let me.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Right. So
Sorry, we're all very excited
the
about
first
it.
ring has gone into circulation because has been stolen from the guy that they rescued.
Yeah.
The other guy who had the second ring, has been killed.
Bruce
Yeah.
Willis, yes, he has died.
And so they're going to investigate, and that's why they dress up as the CSI girls to try and find out who killed him.
Yeah,
And then they work out that it's got to be someone with a scar on their knee who uses pineapple sex wax
yes.
On their surfboard.
on their
So-
surfboard.
The reason the reason they know about the wax is because they find a small amount of wax on the door near the lock because he used his credit card that he uses
To
to
open the
scrape
door,
wax
yeah.
off his board. And the reason they know he has a scar on his knee is because they find two prints of a very specific shoe that was only sold one specific time at one specific
in a certain
store in a certain place. None of that information
it's very
is
much
important.
taking it really cracks me up because doesn't Lucy Liu go on to do Sherlock Holmes later?
Yeah.
Or whatever
but
it's
yeah.
called, Elementary.
None of the information about this shoe is important.
No.
Like that is
No.
never. They're never like, oh, we looked up who bought this shoe. No, the only thing that's important is one of the sides is they can know that there's a mismatch between the pressure on the shoes, so there is some sort of injury on one of their knees, which means they have to have a scar on their knee, which is incredibly stupid.
It is mad.
And the
And-
whole
and
time.
then-
Oh, we forgot about the best part of that scene, which is the police officer. That
Oh,
won't
yeah.
let them
Yeah,
in.
'cause he's just like, what?
It's just like
He has
freeze.
no idea what's going on.
He's like, we can't let him in the 42. And then they just start saying code at him and then just kind of walk past him.
Well, he sort of drops code first, doesn't he? He was like, we've got a 419, a 218, and a 3559. And they're like, a chinchilla.
An illegal
Illegal
chinchilla
chin-
thing. And he's like, actually, it's an illegal chinchilla farm.
But I think her knowing the code makes him think, oh, well, they must be actual.
They must be real.
Cops.
But then he's like, I need to talk to my superior. She's like, hey, I am your superior. And then just walks past him. And then Bosley's just outside holding like the
He's
human
he's wearing the
tag.
coroner's
Yeah.
outfit, and he's got a body bag, and he's like, I ain't touching no body.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, like, when they come out, Bosley's like, so did it smell? They're talking about the case, and he's like, did it smell? Did he look weird and wrinkly? What was it like? And then he hands the bag off to the actual coroner, and then the police officer draws the gun at the actual coroner. It's insane. That whole scene, every scene is individually crazy, and I love it.
Yeah, this whole film is just mad.
They
So they go to the beach to investigate a surfer, and there Cameron Diaz meets an old angel called Madison Lee. And
who
they
is
um,
played by
Demi Moore.
Demi Moore. That's it. I was gonna say
Yeah.
Mandy Moore. It's not Mandy Moore.
And Cameron Diaz is like just out and about surfing and talking to her.
There's definitely gay vibes there, right?
100%. No, 100%. There's a lot of gay vibes, a lot of gay vibes in this film. A lot of lesbianism and lesbianic undertones, I think, is the term.
Yeah. So the other two are in like a tiki shack kind of thing, like where you get your slush puppies spying on them, and Lucy Liu is talking to Drew Barrymore. And she's like, "You always fall for the bad guy. Like, stop."
Yeah.
And then it plays Danger High Voltage by Electric Six while they're doing something as well.
Yeah, well, Bosley, they see someone else with a board, and they tell Bosley to go up it, because Bosley's like, I can't move, I've got sand in my balls.
Yeah.
And I can't walk anywhere. He's just yelling. He spends this whole film yelling, and it's brilliant.
He's just really uncomfortable and not a field agent.
No. And he's told to go over and check to see if the wax is cherry flavoured?
Pineapple flavoured.
Pineapple. So he just goes over, slaps this guy on the stomach, and this is like Good Day Surfing. Licks his board and just starts shouting, "It's great."
Grape wax, and he goes, "Yeah,
it's great."
And this surfer dude seems pretty unfazed.
Yeah.
That kind of person walks up to you. You don't know how to get. You don't know what to do.
But he's triggered this poor guy's fight or flight or freeze, and he's just gone, "No, if I stay still, maybe the man will leave me alone."
The guy in a full wetsuit walks up to you, like awkwardly walks up to you, hits you on the stomach, licks your board, and starts shouting, "It's grape." You don't interact with that person any more than you have to. Oh man! And then
they work out who the guy is, and they kind of hide under his car so they can steal bits from his wallet.
He's out to sea, and
he's the sexy guy that they see in the moving house scene, right?
No,
that was just another sexy surfer.
Okay. I think. But Dylan's like, wow, he must be the worst.
Yeah, because she's very horny for him.
Hot. He's fucking hot.
He is hot.
And he has a scar on his
which zooms in through like the binoculars. Which again, insane. And then they sneak out on his board, and Cameron Diaz plays stupid bad flirty again. Yeah,
she does bad flirty, but it's intense. It's like
weirdly sexual.
Yeah, incredibly sexual talk. Like, I'm so wet from surfing. Those waves, like, really got me going. Right, I'm going to be wet for hours.
I was being pounded and pounded and pounded out.
And to be fair, like, this guy is solely just, like, nonplussed about the whole thing.
He looks a bit confused.
He's a bit confused. Lash doesn't give a shit.
Yeah, so they steal his credit card. In the coolest way, where they like crawl under his car, go through his bag, go through his wallet, and then appear behind her, in like a really cool shot with the surfboard.
Yeah, like behind the surfboard. Yeah,
yeah, really cool. That was kind of cool because it was. I was like, how's he? Where have they gone? He's going to reverse. He's going to hit them. They're under the car. That's how cars work.
Behind her. Yeah.
And then I was like, oh wait, no, they've started a helicopter midair. Like, this is not an issue for these girls.
They can fly, as far as I can tell.
Yeah, they can teleport. It's fine.
Yeah.
Because they work out he's going to be after a guy at a dirt track. I can't remember how they get to
the... They steal the invite to the event out of his wallet.
He also has a list of names.
Yeah. And he's going to go after someone called Leo.
Yeah.
So then we get the coal bowl.
As much as I said earlier, the best outfit in the film. No, these are the best outfits in the film.
Yeah, when they're
they look like Power Rangers.
They're dressed as Mad Max style Power Rangers.
Speaking of the Power Rangers, there's a mysterious black Power Ranger here. Who could he be? We'll never know until later.
Pink is here.
Yeah, Pink is here.
Pink is emceeing this.
Also, do you know who else is here, but you don't know it's him until nearer the end, and maybe they should have just gotten rid of him? Shia LaBeouf.
12-year-old Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah, It'll Biddle Even Stevens.
He's in it.
We've missed out the Mary, Kate and Ashley cameo, which I think happens just before this.
Does it?
Oh, yeah, because that's when...
Drew Barrymore's having a bit of an existential crisis because she can't imagine life after being an angel.
Well, Lucy Liu is talking to her about, like, well, Cameron Diaz is going to move on and get married, and we're going to have to get another...
She's like, realistically, like, someone is going to leave at some point, and we're going to have to get a replacement.
Yeah, so she has sort of flash forwards through different times, and she's getting older and older, and then she's just like a really old lady with Mary Kay and Ashley.
Again, wild cameos. I would love to see a film with Drew Barrymore and Mary Kay.
Anyway, so the dirt bike scene, it's amazing. It goes on for way too long, but I couldn't be bored because things kept on exploding.
Yeah, well,
yeah, there's lots of explosions. Like Cameron Diaz gets knocked down, but much like Chumbawamba.
Well, so the only reason they know what's going to happen is the killer is after a guy called Leo, and they're like, oh god, and then one of them spots one of the blood racers has a lion symbol, and just goes, oh, he must be Leo. So they go after them, and there's like this chase on a dirt bike course, and they decide like, oh, we've got to save him, so they get on bikes and chase as well. Yeah. And I was like, the whole time I was like, the dirt bike course is round. Just go to the next part of the course and stop him.
just go the other way, yeah.
Like, they were going like in and out in like a figure eight, and it's like, well, if you can just go ahead quicker and stop him that way, you don't have to chase him. But I'm glad they did, because it was an amazing scene.
It's great, but it is like, you do get long shots of the course, and it's not like a figure. I don't think it's a figure eight, but it's not massive either, and it's definitely
just a
round.
Big bowl. Yeah. And then the mysterious Black Rider comes in and kills the surfer guy.
Before that,
and steals some of.
Before that, the surfer guy like tries to kill the angel.
Oh yeah, he's got guns. Yeah,
in the coolest ways, where he just like at one point they jump whenever they go over a jump, they do tricks. For some reason, and he like one of them, he turns around, shoots them, and they do like tricks to dodge the bullets somehow. And then he does another one where he goes upside down and shoots at them, and one of their bikes blows up.
Yes, and their bike blows up, and then I think is it Alex's one, and she uses the momentum of the explosion to land on the back of one of the other angels' bikes.
Oh yeah, Cameron Diaz, like her one blows up. Yeah,
and then they just keep going like nothing happened.
Yeah. It's brilliant. And also, Pink doesn't like... Oh, she does say, the only rule is there is no rules, but I feel like she might have been like, okay, I do draw the line at murder.
Like, this guy has killed at least 3 people on this track. One of them almost immediately. Maybe they should stop the race. But they don't.
Then he gets killed by the mysterious Black Rider.
Because
who steals some of Drew Barrymore's hair, but she steals a necklace from him.
The mysterious Black Rider, by the way, does the really intelligent thing and goes the other way and drives at him.
Yeah.
Right before the killer's going to kill Leo, he gets a back shoe knife to the chest, which happens so quickly considering everything else is slow motion. It's so quick, and then the black bike crashes into a wall.
And then who is it?
Who is it?
It's Thin Man.
Thin Man.
It's the creepy hair-sniffing weirdo, who they clearly decided was in this film before they wrote his backstory.
100%. Because, they go... And then they learn Leo is, like, 15.
It's Shia LaBeouf. And then they learn that Dylan is actually...
Helen's ass. She's in the Witness Protection Program.
Yeah.
And so
because they find, he's got a picture of her, but it's got the other name on it.
Yeah, and so is Leo, and that's how they work out. Oh, this person's going through the witness protection, killing everyone.
Because she used to date the leader of the Irish mob called Seamus O'Grady.
I don't believe he's Irish.
No, he's not. The actor's not Irish.
No, I don't know.
What?
Even like convincingly Irish in this film. I don't think in canon he's Irish.
No. And then
I wasn't entirely sure he was human the way he was talking.
Man!
I mean, I can't do accents, but at least I have the decency not to try.
No, that wasn't even close to Irish. I used to think that was a good Irish accent. I know better now. They learn he's the deadliest person in the world. Apparently,
he's after Drew, and he's not going to rate because she got him put away.
Yeah, and she's like, oh, it'll be fine as long as he never gets out. So of course it cuts to him leaving prison.
Yeah,
and then it does the whole. Is it Cape Fear that thing's from?
It does
the Cape Fear reference where he's doing the pull-ups and it's got that brr, brr, brr background music. It's really weird. Yeah. It's really out of place.
They also find out that the necklace that they stole off the Thin Man. Shia LaBeouf also has the same necklace, and they get it from an orphanage.
Yeah.
And then they're like, okay, where are we going to keep Shia LaBeouf for now? And so Bosley takes him to his house, because he's like, no Irish are going to come into...
No man called O'Grady has ever been in this part of town.
Yeah.
I
And his
do
mum
I do
comes
love
out.
that it's like, I think they imply, if they don't outright say it, which they might have done, because I didn't actually pay attention all the time for this film.
Yeah, you don't have to. It's full
That
of Bill
Bosley
Finney paying attention.
1, Bill Murray, was like adopted by the family.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Which-
There's just a picture of him
He's
on
in
the
a-
wall
yeah,
behind.
picture of him in it.
And it's like when they're
Um,
saying brother at the start, you think, oh, he's because he's black, he's saying brother. Like,
Nope.
but
He
no,
was
adopted
adopted.
brother.
Yeah.
His family adopted Bill Murray.
And his mum's so fucking funny.
Yeah, oh, she's a great character.
It's just like, don't look her in the eyes.
Yeah. So then they go to the orphanage to try and figure out who the Thin Man is.
Yeah.
And there's a cameo that I didn't even realise who it was until after the movie.
It's Debbie Reynolds, isn't it? Is it Debbie Reynolds?
No, it's Carrie Fisher
I'd say it's Carrie Fisher.
as the like head nun.
Yeah.
Because she's been in so many films where I've not realised it's her. Like, I didn't realise that she's the
Do you
guidance
only
counsellor
recognise if
in
she's got
Austin
two
Powers.
buns either side of her head?
She's a guidance counselor in what?
In the first Austin Powers movie, she's
Oh, yeah.
in that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yes.
they talk about him, and apparently he turned up one night when he was 7, and he was quiet until they started cutting his hair. Then he would rip the nun's hair out and do a backflip and scream. And like him ripping the hair out in the first film, it's like it's weird, but it's not that intense. That scene is really fucking intense and weird.
It
and,
is
like,
really
this
weird
person-
because this film is the same movie basically as the first one, but a little,
Turned
just a
up.
little bit like, yeah,
A little
on
bit more-
steroids.
It's the first film. Would you say full throttle?
I would.
In full throttle mode. And yeah, it like the rest of the film's like this big adventurous thing, and then it gets to his bit, and because like it's a bit unhinged and it's full throttle, it's so unhinged and scary.
Yeah, it is a bit like there's something very wrong with this person, but it's
Yeah.
like he's not actually a bad guy in this.
No, and like every time, but it's like, oh yeah, he comes back every now and then. Because he's the
Benefactor,
main benefactor of the church,
orphanage.
and she's like, oh, he's a real angel.
Yeah, I like that. I thought that was a nice touch.
Yeah, and he turns up every now and then for a haircut, and then it cuts to him again screaming in the,
Yeah,
in the chair.
he's got it's not it's weird that it's a nun that he gets his hair because it's a fetish thing,
Yeah,
and
Well,
it's so
maybe.
obviously a fetish thing.
Maybe.
I don't know. I think I mentioned a few times in the last episode how he always looked like he was about to cry or come,
I don't know.
and I
like,
maintain
feels
that for this.
He feels like he
this
has
film.
intense psychological problems that I feel isn't a
It's the
single
sniffing
problem.
the hair, though.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a bit of a fetish. I don't think that's the only thing going on. Is what I mean.
Yeah, no, I think that is maybe the tip of the proverbial iceberg.
Yeah, there's a lot of more stuff going on with that guy. But he
But
donates.
maybe the nun shouldn't indulge that fetish, is what I was getting
No.
at.
But he donates a car to
Yeah,
them.
yeah, no, she's sold out for the kids.
Yeah.
Fair play.
Well, he donates. I think that they're like, oh, we see the good in everyone. So to them, it isn't a problem. It's just the way he is. Should probably have gone to see a psychologist when he was 7. Yeah, that's where
so they get
he
some
donates a car.
names of
Yeah,
like
this
the
is-
gang.
this
They're
is
going to
where-
infiltrate. They're going to infiltrate the. Is it O'Leary?
O'Grady.
O'Grady
'Cause it's
gang.
the
So-
most Irish thing.
So this is where they find out it's the dogs, because this is where Cameron Diaz notices the
Bird
sequel shit on the car.
Yeah.
And,
And
it's from
maybe
this
licks
specific
it.
one.
I remember her licking it, but I don't.
Yeah,
No,
They don't
they don't. They
probably.
don't show you. They don't show you. They don't.
I think she sniffs it.
She just
No,
sniffs it.
there-
Which,
there's.
at,
I watched it very intently.
at least they've set up in the opening thing where it's a surprise cow birth that she is an animal person.
Yeah.
Like it
and
properly
she had the
sets
thing
that
with the
up.
birds in the first one as well.
Yeah, but it
Where she
doesn't
knew-
set up that she's like an animal expert in that. In this one,
No,
it's
in
like
that it just happens.
it's very clear that she is an animal expert.
Yeah.
Um,
So between this bit and them going to the dock is where Joey from Friends talks to John Cleese and is like giving away her job, but he's not saying what she does, and it just sounds like she's a prostitute.
he's like, oh, they all work together.
They work together. They're on loads of jobs.
'Cause he- John Cleese believes Lucy Liu is a doctor.
yeah.
Yes, 'cause that's what she's told her dad.
Yeah, and he also believes that Dylan is a head of gynecology.
And the other one was a chief psychiatrist. Or something?
Natalie's works in
Yeah.
psychiatry. It's wild, and yeah, he's explaining stuff, and it sounds like he's a prostitute. She's a prostitute, and John Cleese just looks shocked and doesn't know what to do. and then that cuts away.
And then they're blending in as dock workers, and they're like sitting up on a boat.
Have you missed?
You've probably missed a lot. Like, this film's wild.
Yeah.
The stripper bit with Atomic Kid.
Oh,
yeah.
Not
no,
Atomic Kid.
That's just after this. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Because they're sitting there as dock workers, and they work out that they all go into this place called the Treasure Chest, which is like the bar. But they're taking like really close, zoomed in, good pictures on a really old 2003 phone.
Yeah. Well,
And
this
I'm like,
this film is sponsored
no.
by T-Mobile. If you didn't notice all of this,
Oh, yeah.
T-Mobile, everyone. This film is sponsored by T-Mobile.
I only picked up on that when it came up on the big laptop screen. Instead of
Yeah.
Google search, it just said T-Mobile, but like
Yeah.
It was
massive.
like T-search. It was
And then I'm sure every phone in this as well was a
T-Mobile.
T-Mobile,
Yeah,
have a
yeah,
T-Mobile thing on
100%.
it.
Films are expensive. They've
Yeah.
got to pay for it somehow.
Yeah,
They
it's
chose
like
T-Mobile.
it just reminded me again that this is a parody of like the. I mean, it's obviously is this film earlier? I can't remember, but remember like Dell in some of the Mission Impossible films.
Yeah. I guess if you get a sponsor and you can lean into it being like a bit of a parody, that's perfect.
Yeah.
This episode is currently sponsored by Grey Issue 4, which is a comic book series that I've written and it is currently funding on Kickstarter. It's the story of an ex-undercover cop back from the dead to take down the mob he was infiltrating. Oh, and he's made of concrete. You can read the previous issues digitally before backing too, so you know what you're getting into. You can back and get digital or physical copies, posters, sketch cards of yourself, original artwork, and you could even be drawn into the comic. It's funding until the 2nd of October, so check it out with the link in the description. Yeah.
But yeah, they notice on the dock, they notice that like you have to have a name. It's high security.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but
you need
all
like
go-
a name badge
Yeah.
and like certain keys and stuff, so they then
Which-
do the sexy dance routine to Pink Panther.
Isn't that high security? Thinking about it, because they're like it's incredibly high security. It's just a guy with a clipboard is all they show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a guy with a clipboard checking names. That's pretty standard security.
I mean, there was also 2 guards with guns.
Okay, but like it's got a lot of expensive things inside.
Yeah.
That's pretty standard.
Don't worry, I'm not critiquing. I'm not criticizing this part of the film.
No, it's just it's weird how big everything else is, and they were like, "Oh, this is high security. This place. What do we need? A badge. That's it."
And I think a badge and to speak Irish, which the Irish. Yeah. Anyway, so they need to get
We'll
the
get
the
to
badge
them.
and everything.
We haven't heard anyone do an Irish accent yet properly.
No.
So they do the dance with the Pussycat Dolls to
Yeah,
Pink
they're doing
Panther.
it to Pink Panther, and it's
Yeah.
really weird, and it's just very overly
And it's
sexual.
it's a very
Yeah.
sexual strip tease, and it's a bit on the nose, you know.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
get that they are like sort of femme fatale agents that use their
Yeah.
femininity to as part
I
of
mean,
their.
like,
but
but
yeah,
It's that turned all the way up. Like,
Yeah. Oh,
it's
yeah,
that
this is-
turned up to level of parody.
would you say it's full throttle?
It's full
stripping?
throttle. It's full throttle stripping.
Yeah.
And yeah, so they steal the
The keys and the pass and everything, yeah.
Yeah,
And then
and
they
the
get
paperwork.
Bosley to be like
the Irish.
an Irish dock worker.
He's just sort of yelling at the guy.
Yes, he's like, you don't look Irish. But that guy
He's like,
who's
"You don't
saying
look
like
like a
you
paddy."
don't that you don't look like a paddy, and this guy has the strongest Scottish accent,
You don't look like no Paddy I've ever seen.
and it's like you don't sound Irish either.
No one in this film sounds Irish. Oh,
But, like,
man. But
I mean the what's his name, Theroux sounds doesn't sound like any country I've ever heard of, or
He
even
doesn't.
particularly human. But
No.
this guy's accent is Scottish.
Yeah, you're a big fan.
It's like he just typed in British accent and then picked and then was like, oh fuck, okay.
Or-
Ireland's
he-
not part of Britain.
Or he was Scottish and no one noticed. No one was like, maybe that's an Irish accent.
So
And
you've
he
got an
was like,
Irish accent. Do you want to have
He
this?
went,
Do you want to
"Yeah,
have this speaking part? And he's like, yeah,
He was like,
yeah.
yeah, sure.
Yeah. They so Bosley delivers this statue in. And this bit was weird.
They've
right?
made made it incredibly clear that this is a high security thing. All they
Yeah.
did was he just talked over this man until he let him in. High
he gets
security,
let
by
in,
the way.
yeah.
High security.
And so he drops off like there's loads of
There's a
like artifacts
statue.
and stuff.
Yeah, it's clear like
and
they
there's
run
a
a
statue that he
smuggling.
drops off.
Yeah.
Yeah. But when they break out of the statue, they are completely naked.
Yeah.
And then they're just clothed in the next scene, and I'm like, why did they have to be naked for being in the statue? That is weird.
Sweaty.
Well, they're like kind of built into the. I thought they were basically plastered in.
Yeah.
So they had to be naked because obviously the artwork, like it's only you
you
can't be a sculpture and not naked.
Can't be wearing grunge jeans and shorts.
And I think they had like their clothes were like at their feet or something.
Yeah,
oh, possibly.
It was.
And then there's like a little, there's a little bit of scene where they just got like, vroom, vroom, vroom. They're basically Sims, where they like jump in the air, spin around, and they've got a different outfit on.
Yeah, they're clothed, and then they go into because they needed to get inside. They get inside the cage by just breaking it.
Yeah, because it's like electrified,
and no one.
Yeah, there's the great line of "I smell a rat," and then it just pans to a rat. It's like, okay, bit of visual humour.
They just throw something at it, and then they get in, and
it's electrified, hence the dead rat.
And then
they've got to get the 2 rings, but they're like, because they're made of different things, they'll float. So they pour champagne in.
Pure platinum. All the other rings are made out of pure platinum. Which, by the way, there's like 100 rings in there made out of pure platinum. And also,
they look like 99p rings you get in an arcade.
But if they are pure platinum, fucking grab a handful.
Yeah,
well,
for sure.
These girls aren't thieves.
No,
but yeah, the idea is that like the data is like these rings are hollow because of the data that's held in them.
So they go through a really simple science time with Charlie's Angels, where they break open a box and there's a load of champagne in there, and she's like, anything that if a material lighter than the substance it is put into, is submerged into, and then another one finished with it floats, like it was a big thing, like. Yes.
It explodes? No.
It floats.
What we have learnt is rings does float on
champagne.
Rings
does float in champagne.
Platinum doesn't.
Which again, a cool idea of like how do we find which ones are the right wing is.
It was also a bit annoying that they had literally a box full of identical rings, but never once pulled a ring switcheroo.
Oh, that would have been too complicated for that. There was enough in this film already. We did not need that being added.
Because they get the rings and leave, but it turns out it was just a trap, and O'Grady is there waiting for them with a shit ton of thugs.
This is the first time we hear his accent properly, and by God, it is an accent.
We're not putting this on. It's bad.
It's so bad.
It's worth listening to.
We can't. I don't think I can even do an impression of it. It's
Bring
so
the
unusual.
pain.
The pain. It's like it's like it's wild.
It's not like it sounds a bit ...
Irish.
It doesn't sound Irish, but I can't place it either.
Like I can see the starting point being Irish. I don't know how he got to that end point though.
Do you think they had a vocal coach on there that just gave up?
No, I don't think they even attempted to hire a vocal coach for this film. Because there's no way they got a vocal coach and sounded on like that. But yeah, no, he is insane. He is crazy.
Yeah.
And violent, and it's genuinely quite scary.
So they end up like they knock out the lights and flip over them, but then they just turn the lights back on and they start fighting them all.
Well, they're doing Morse code.
Fighting.
They're doing Morse code on their hands, and I assume it's to tell the other two what they're going to do. I assume the lights turning off was just to give them time to give a plan.
Yeah.
And that's why I assume that I might be giving this film a lot of credit, but I was like, that's quite well implied stuff going on. Because there's Morse code sounds as they're doing it, and it is not at all in time with their movements.
No, of course not. Why would it be?
And then the Prodigy starts again.
Yeah, so they fight them all to the Prodigy until they eventually leave by...
Which I believe is Firestarter.
It is Firestarter, which doesn't actually make sense for the first 5 minutes of the fight.
No, it's an incredible fight scene. It is a genuinely great fight scene. It's stupid.
It is very stupid.
But it's very, fuck it, do it kind of... Which I also learned, talking about the fight scenes, I learned that the first film, the martial arts choreographer, the combat fighting choreographer, was a guy that acted in Kung Fu Hustle.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so... And apparently it was the similar team that did The Matrix. So there's a reason the fights are like how they are.
Yeah.
But it is such an interesting fight because there's a lot of levels to it. There's a lot of physical...
They actually make use of the fact that they're in this boat. cavern
Yeah, and
kind of thing.
there's like a cage that they're climbing up, that Lucy Liu climbs up and does some flying around. Does some flying around on some ropes and kicks some ass, and Cameron Diaz is doing the same thing where she's just like flipping over people and like kicking half a mile away.
Yeah.
Incredible. All of the time, Drew Barrymore is fighting the Irish guy through. The fight between Barrymore and Through in this is so aggressive and violent. Like it probably feels like they punch each other. Like the other two are like doing flippy martial arts stuff. They're like properly swinging on each other. And you very rarely see that in a film with like a man fighting a woman.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's very rare, like
proper aggressive.
Full force swing, and then they end up kissing. And yeah, they don't have a healthy relationship.
No.
No.
But yeah, they escape by...
They escape. Lucy Liu ends up with a flamethrower.
Yeah, and then Firestarter makes sense.
Yeah.
And then Firestarter makes sense. And then O'Grady just walks through the flames, and so they escape on a jet ski.
Well, she trips over. Drew Barrymore, she's running away, trips over, looks back. He just walks through the fire and then goes, I'll introduce your friends to Pian. To Pian.
Pian. I'll introduce your friends to Pian. Maybe he was going for Welsh.
Oh, I think that's a catheter.
Yeah. And then she just
Pian,
gets
check
away.
or cash.
Which sends, I assume, after she has sort of translated it in her head, sends Drew Barrymore's character into a downward spiral where she wants to leave. She feels like she has to leave them because
she knows that he's gonna his mob is gonna hunt down the angels.
Yeah, he'll introduce them to Pian.
Then this bit they sort of go their separate ways, and Diaz is at like a school reunion with the guy that she was with.
Yeah.
Joey is still making them sound like hookers, and then Lucy Liu comes in and she's like, yeah, we just took on a team of 12 sailors.
Cameron Diaz is like misunderstanding that the guy's gonna propose to her.
Yeah.
Yes, she thinks he's gonna ask her to. Yeah.
And she starts dancing again. She has another dance sequence. It's very
I
similar
thought it was
to the
going to be
first
another
one.
dream, like she'd slipped and hit her head, and that whole thing was a
No.
fantasy because she's
Yeah, because
dancing
she
quite
does
well,
get tangled up in balloons.
and
this
everyone
film-
kind of dances with her, and it's like,
Because
but
this
where's
film
the
is
bit where she woke up?
identical to the first film, just turned up a bit, or as you can say, full throttle.
It was crazy. I didn't care though.
it's so
Like
good.
it, like let her have a little dance sequence.
Yeah.
Yeah. They have a little dance, and then Drew Barrymore is leaving because she's like, I don't want to.
I don't want my friends to be
Don't
introduced to
want these
Pian.
people to be, yeah. She doesn't want them to be hurt.
To be introduced to Pian.
Pian?
Um,
And then after she's left, the rings are secure, and they give them back to the US
guy.
government guy, who said that he's got broken ribs, but Bosley
Well,
throws the rings and he just grabs. Yeah,
We're shown it. We get a flashback to the batshit opening sequence
yeah.
where he reaches his arm up
ends
and
up
goes,
with-
"Oh,
yeah.
my ribs!" And Bosley throws him it, and he catches it, and his ribs aren't broken, and they all go, "Holy shit!"
He's lied to
Look
us.
around.
What else could he have lied about? And then they're like,
Yeah.
maybe he actually already had one ring, and he just used them to get the other ring. Isn't that the plot
get
of the
the
first
second.
film?
And then
100%.
Bosley's like, "Wait, what?"
Yeah. And at this
And then-
point,
and so-
it goes over to Drew Barrymore in a bar.
Oh, that's a little bit later.
Really
First, we
cool
get them
scene.
chasing.
Oh yeah,
They chase him in the car, and I really wanted to talk about this bit because they're like Lucy Liu's like on some sort of skateboard, like attaching so they can work out where he's going or something. Cameron Diaz is going down in the car, but to make him stop so Lucy Liu can get off Bosley is just like
Stands in the
a
road with the
lollipop
kids.
man with a bunch of kids. But the best thing about this scene, right, is because they're just in the middle of a really hilly area. It's
Yeah.
just like mountains around them. There's no path to get there. They're just in the middle of a
Yeah.
road, and he's like, "No, wait, you gotta wait. I got about 5 minutes, then we can cross." And it's just mountains.
yeah.
It's
So it's called
just
a
stand-
street
that really got
luge
me.
that she's
Yeah.
riding. But yeah, also, where are
Yes.
these kids coming from or going to?
Where do they live?
They're just
Where do
there.
these kids live?
But this whole idea that she's got to try and fit an interceptor, a decoder or whatever, to listen to
Yeah.
his phone call on his secure line through his phone, because also, 2003.
Yeah,
And she has this street luge,
she gets caught in his
And
car
it's-
and she can't disconnect.
but it's just, like, I know I'm the only person here that's got a driving license,
Yeah,
but
as of like a week ago.
yeah, well, so
Like
it's all
any
very
of that-
fresh, okay?
like any of that is going to be relevant to what is happening.
You would see someone I know she's technically undercover.
Let's talk about the rest of this film and talk about the reality of that moment. Do you not remember what they did when they were fighting the Irish guy? When they
Do you not remember when they started a helicopter in midair?
Yeah. No, so your driving license, how do you explain the helicopter that they started in midair?
I don't do helicopters. I haven't got a license for a helicopter,
So
or I'd weigh in on that.
So you think that could be theoretically realistic?
He needs to check his mirrors more.
No,
He needs to be looking in that blind spot.
But yeah, she can't detach, so Bosley has to just sort of stand in front of the car and hope he stops.
And he only barely does, and it looks like Bosley wets himself.
Yeah, and the kids are allowed to go to.
And thankfully, the kids are like, "Thank God we can cross the road." Not, who's that weird girl on the street luge attached to this guy's car?
Or like, why did this man kidnap us, take us all the way out here into the mountains, and then not let us cross the road?
What happened to the normal lollipop man? It's the lollipop man bound and gagged in the desert.
Yeah, they have it. She disconnects. They learn that he's talking to someone. There's someone with a big plan. And then it cuts to Drew Barrymore.
And then it's Drew Barrymore in Mexico.
He says like a weird code to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Drew Barrymore's in Mexico getting groped.
Yeah, she gets slapped in the arse and
then she ends up talking to she's talking to Kelly Garrett, who's like another ex-angel. Yeah.
She's actually like an actress. One of the original angels.
She was in the original,
Demi Moore isn't an original angel.
Literally the only cameo that makes sense.
It's so cool. It's so cool. And I wish she was in it more, but it's so cool that she was in it.
Yeah, so she kind of convinces her that, angels are all unique, but you should go back. And so as she's leaving, the guy like slaps her ass again, and she throws him through the jukebox.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that little thing she said to her. That little saying, like, angels are like diamonds, you can't make them, you have to find them.
Yeah.
It's like, except, lab-made angels.
You can make lab-made angels.
Or, you can make an angel, you just have to crush them under rocks for thousands of years.
Yep.
Yeah. I only buy lab-made angels for ethical reasons.
But then we have the reveal, the bad guy reveal, where
so they go to the observatory.
The ring guy is like, I've got it, my partner in crime, which I think he literally says, or it's very similar.
Yeah.
And then they shoot him.
Yeah, and it's like, and then there's a reveal, and it's Demi Moore.
Dun, dun, dun.
The old angel, and who is wants revenge for it's never quite clear why.
She is her own boss, and then she doesn't follow orders.
Yeah.
I think it's revenge on Charlie again. I think it's the same movie. Guys.
Yeah, it's probably the same.
Same movie.
And it's just the two of them, but then surprise, Drew Barrymore is actually behind her, but she throws her, and then the angels like get into their pose, and she's like, angel's ass kicking pose.
Back in my day,
and
we
shoots
them.
them.
Well, she says, back in my day, we had guns.
But that is actually a callback because they did have a conversation with Bosley at the start about like needing their bespoke Kevlar.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, they've got the Kevlar. Also, apparently, they don't use guns in this because like. They're all like the actresses are all very anti-gun, pro gun control. Fair enough.
This film is better without it.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah, the fight scenes
really
are
boring
so good.
if they just shot everyone.
Yeah. And it's fun watching people overcome someone with a gun with just like martial arts and whatever the fuck style fighting you would call they're done.
But then they all get shot.
Yeah, they do like special backflip escape.
Thankfully, she didn't shoot any of them in the head. The leg, the torso, or literally anywhere except their chest.
Which is quite cool and implies that every angel is taught to do exactly the same thing and flip at the same time. Because she just goes bang, bang, bang and shoots them all and then drives away.
Yeah. And then she shoots the speaker that Charlie talks to her through.
Yeah. And then we cuts back to them and they wake up.
And they wake up because they had the vests on because, as we have learned in this movie, in this podcast, it's foreshadowing.
Look.
So, sorry, Mikey, can you just explain to me and the audience?
What's foreshadowing? We're not too sure.
Something that happens earlier in the film turns up at the end of the film.
Oh, wow, that's pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, I know. I hate myself.
Did you go to film school?
No, technically. Technically, no. I went to a normal university and did a media degree.
So they work out, so they all get up from being shot and they're walking towards the car and they're like, oh, it's actually on, because he said something about a stair and that, and it's like, oh, it's actually on the Walk of Fame. And then the car explodes.
Yeah, because it's a stair and they're like staring at what? And then I was like, no, a stair. Fred Astaire. And Cameron starts tap dancing.
And it's when the car explodes and one of them was like, I think she's trying to kill us.
That line I like that line.
That's good.
And then it's the premiere for Maximum Extreme 2.
The final coolest scene in the whole film. It's so cool when so every villain turns up. Right?
The crime families are all making their way to get the elite lists.
To the hotel. They will get sent to the roof.
Yeah. Because they're going to different people. Yeah. And then as the elevator person's walking away, O'Grady is just like staring at their ass and he like looks a bit confused.
I don't know that ass from anywhere.
Yeah. So then the crime families all end up getting like gotten by the FBI at the same time.
They're all sent
gathered
to the wrong
in the
room.
same place.
Yeah.
And it turns out
Demi
Madison's like
forced
watching
to look
from
at it. Yeah.
In the best outfit.
Fucking incredible.
She's just in lingerie and a massive fur coat and heels.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because then the people that actually told them where they had to go were the angels
in disguise.
In disguise again, yeah.
Wearing face masks.
And so the Irish people show up and he's like, I recognise that as anyway, you piece of shit.
And then the creepy Thin Man is there and they have like this really long drawn out fight and
the fight does go on for ages. The
Thin Man is a good guy and he kisses Drew Barrymore.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on.
That's a bit weird. And then he ends up getting stabbed, and then the Irish guy gets stabbed with it as well, and they both fall off the... he falls off the roof, and then the Irish guy falls and lands on it.
Yeah. Well, he pulls out...
and she pulls out his hair.
Yeah.
And he basically comes in his pants.
Yeah. And then
because they're on the roof of the theatre, and so, like, the entire, sign is kind of breaking down while they're fighting. And there's a letter E that's kind of spread across two rooftops, and that's what they're fighting on.
Yeah.
And so when the Irishman's down there and he's still alive, and then that falls and crushes him, and so my note was, he's dead now.
The only person left is Mandy Moore. Fuck. Demi Moore. She escapes with her wingsuit.
Yes, and so the three girls kind of like Spider-Man swing on some lights to get onto her, and she ends up getting in a car, and they all grab onto it. It's fucking insane.
She's like the bomb at the audience, and Bosley's like, absolutely fucking not. I'm going to do what I do best.
Bats it
away like a baseball bat, like a baseball into the air. It explodes. Matt LeBlanc is like, wow, they really stepped up the effects.
Yeah.
The little side gags in these films are fucking incredible. And then you have the end fight scene between Cameron Diaz and Demi Moore.
Oh, well, yeah, so, while they're driving, the background music is Saturday Night's All Right for Fighting, but it's the Nickelback cover.
Yep. Yeah.
And then they end up crashing into a different theatre.
Yeah. I lost track of the geography of all of this stuff.
It's crazy. But
I struggled at the end of this film. This was where I started to run out of energy.
Yeah, I mean, the Demi Moore fight, the Demi Moore thing's really cool because they're fighting, and it's like Demi Moore's winning because Diaz is doing all the standard angel stuff.
Yeah.
So she's kind of always one step ahead, and Cameron Diaz is losing, and she's like, actually, I have one thing that you don't as an angel. I have friends. Such a dig.
And Joey from Friends comes in.
Imagine if someone to you was like, I'm different to you, I have friends. That would hurt so deep.
Yeah, and so the other two come in and kick her through the floor.
Yeah.
And as she falls through the floor, she breaks a gas pipe, so then when she tries to shoot her gun, it all explodes.
And that's it.
And then I think it's Cameron Diaz that says, she is so fired.
Yeah.
And they just all look like
that's
faces.
It. So out of 10, guys, this film, fucking wild.
There's still a bit more.
Yeah.
They get the rings back. Joey and Lucy Liu are back together. The barman is going to propose to Diaz, but he's not actually going to propose. He actually got a puppy, and they have a puppy. And then there's a sexy car wash in the credits, and then there's just a montage of them laughing, which was really nice.
So out of 10.
Out of 10. I'm going to give this
10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. 100%. 10 out of 10. So good. It's so good. So 10.
I was going to give this 8 out of 10 Bosleys.
Okay. I mean 9 out of 10, 9.5, 9.9 out of 10, 10 out of 10. No, this is a
It's
10 out of
fine.
10 for me.
You're allowed to give it a 10 out of 10.
This film, because there's so much wrong with it, but it's so self-aware that it's bad and it's fine.
Yeah, I had a great time watching this. I'd give this
It's so fun.
I guess 8 angels out of 10.
10. I'm doing 10 bad Irish accents. I'm doing 10 introductions of Ian.
10 different accents which are supposed to be Irish.
Oh gosh, it was really fun, and I found myself genuinely laughing through lots of it, even though I was just watching it on my laptop while I was supposed to be doing some work.
Yeah, you can't hate this film. You can't
No.
I can't get
be
mad at it
against
for
this
being
film.
dumb.
Yeah, like because the opening presents you.
It's like this film is going to be really stupid. Buckle in.
At no point is this film ever like pretends to be too serious.
No,
Yeah,
I even like
this would not work if it was serious at
It's
all.
got the best cameos. It's wild. And again, wish they made films like this. Again, I wish they made just like...
I want a sequel to this. If they made a sequel to this now with those 3 girls in it, and like lean into the fact that they're older and have to come back. It's not my microphone. That probably sounded really bad.
I would probably love for them to do another sequel. Not like the one in 2019. I'd like a proper sequel where they got the 3 actresses to play like the older angels, like get a new trio of angels, but at some point they meet the old angels and there's a bit of a like moment where they realize that they're kind of identical to each other.
Yeah, and like the old angels have to help out with what's going on or something. Like maybe there's new angels that get there's new angels and they get captured.
No, just
and
like
so they have to get the old angels to get them.
Well, no, because I don't think you can get the old angels to do all of like the martial arts stuff.
I reckon they'd be up for it.
No,
isn't there a
really
TV show coming out, or has it been stopped?
What?
Charlie's
don't
Angels.
I don't know, but I think like
there was the movie in 2019.
It was bad because it took itself seriously.
There was definitely a TV show.
Yeah, in the 70s.
There was a thing. I don't think it did well. I think it may have got cancelled.
Yeah, I remember. Well, I remember my mum watching it because
It didn't do well.
It didn't do well.
Yeah, but yeah, no, I think they could redo this and have the same vibe of like it's just batshit. It's just batshit.
Crazy over the top action parody. Like there's more Mission Impossible films that they can parody now. It's fine.
Yeah. So
get Tom Cruise in it. Why not?
Charlie's Angels. It was cancelled after the 4th episode.
Oof.
Yeah, that happens rarely, but that happens. Bad. It was bad.
Yeah, that must have been bad. Because like you say, they try and go serious with it, and it doesn't work.
You shouldn't. You should just go batshit. But yeah, I think they could do cameos of the original this trio.
Oh yeah, for sure.
The new trio.
They might have to fork out a bit of cash, but
it would be funny.
It'd be worth it.
It'd be really funny, especially mainly if like they didn't have to do too much, just to have them in it as like advisors. It'd be funny, and they could definitely do that again. They just don't because they're cowards.
And they want to make serious action movies that everyone will watch. But they won't watch them, and they do bad.
This film's great, and it's really fun. And like, if you just want to mind break and just to turn it off and just enjoy something, watch this film. Watch this and the first one. It's wild. They're wild. If you haven't seen them before, just fucking watch them. There's no reason not to.
They are real good. Like, considering I'd never seen these before, I'd imagine that they hold up like to any sort of nostalgia from just wacky action movies.
Yeah, top tier. Like,
it's nice, clean, fun.
Yeah, with like a few problems here or there in the first one that kind of got fixed in the second.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess with that, I have been Dan.
I have been Michael.
And I've been Helena.
And you can find this podcast on Twitter and Instagram at HiltonPod. That's at HILTM Pod. We're on Discord as well, so you can hop on there and talk about the movies. And we are on Patreon. What are we going to do for the Patreon this week?
Well, you know, in the first episode of this, we started a Charlie's Angels-esque company where we were the angels.
Yes.
Well, we're going to do that again. We still haven't found our Charlie or our Bosley. So at the moment, it does. Yeah. It's just us desperately asking any kind of government official to give us any kind of interesting mission, mainly, hopefully, based around someone with some information that they end up turning out to be the bad guy about halfway through.
So far, we've been offered jobs as bin men and checking parking meters.
Yes, which we did, to be fair.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't
I
go
found £2.
massively successful.
That's the
I thought
cancels.
I did think that person was kidnapped once, and he wasn't.
No,
but he was just wearing 2 identical rings, and I got confused. But we're just going to put more money into that. We're going to try and continue to look for our Charlie and buy one of those. Essentially, we're going to use the money to buy one side of that speaker system that they use, the conferencing phone.
Yeah.
Sorry,
We're gonna buy one side.
For a second I thought you were saying we're going to buy one side of that sculpture. We're just all going to be nude.
We're going to buy
covered in porcelain and plaster.
We're going to buy one side of that.
We're going to become art.
Charlie's speaker, and just hope it rings. That's what we're going to use your money for. Because currently we have no way to contact a Charlie, or for the Charlie to contact us. So if your name's Charlie,
and you have a mission for us,
you don't even have to have that yet. We just need you.
Just let us know, I guess.
Any chance if there's anyone.
But we won't use guns.
We don't use guns. We live in the UK.
Well, I'd also like to thank one of our Patreons. Our Patreon to thank this week is Reese. He's supported us from the beginning. He's the guy that actually does the artwork for the comic that this episode is sponsored by. And he hasn't left a movie that he's nostalgic for, but I know that he's a big fan of The Phantom Menace, so we can go with that one.
Yeah.
I imagine that holds up. Why wouldn't it?
Bye.
This episode is currently sponsored by Grey Issue 4, which is a comic book series that I've written and is currently funding on Kickstarter. It's the story of an ex-undercover cop back from the dead to take down the mob he was infiltrating. Oh, and he's made of concrete. You can read the previous issues digitally before backing too, so you know what you're getting into. You can back and get digital or physical copies, posters, sketch cards of yourself, original artwork, and you could even be drawn into the comic. It's funding until the 2nd of October, so check it out with the link in the description.